Welcome to Watkins Glen International in upstate New York, the birthplace of modern American road racing. Today, it's the New York 500 for IMSA-type Grand Touring prototypes. And on the pole, this beautiful red Porsche 962 driven by the German star Hans Stuck to a record-shattering lap here, over almost 125 miles an hour.
The big news, the front row. The Porsche 962 Hans Stuck has flown in from Germany to join Bob Aiken, and the Ford Probe right alongside of an international front row.
Sure is, Steve, because Klaus Ludwig is in that Ford Probe, and of course he is also from West Germany and has banged fenders with Hans Stuck from every great racetrack, from Le Mans to Brands Hatch to Watkins Glen on repeated occasions. In fact, we've got a bunch of Europeans in this field and some of the best endurance drivers in the business. And all eyes are on that number 5 car, Steve.
And with good reason, Brock. Look at Hans Stuck pulling away. We have got contact in the middle of the pack. That was Cyril van der Merwe coming together with John Kalajian. Kalajian's car sliding into the pit entrance. But look at the racing as they come down to turn number 1. It is Al Holbert on the point, car number 14.
And Jochen Maas right behind him. There it is, the in-car camera. Maas fighting the wheel as they head up through the S's. That right in front of him, the number 14 car of Al Holbert. That, of course, is the automobile that has carried Holbert to the championship here in the IMSA GT Series already this season.
Well, Brock, it was just amazing the move that Jochen Maas put on his fellow countrymen Hans Stuck and Klaus Ludwig to take over that second place spot going into turn number 1 in that 67 car. Boy, he is some kind of road racer. Well, bad luck is an understatement when you talk about John Kalajian. His number 15 March car, Brock, never even got to the start-finish line. He collided with Cyril van der Merwe. Apparently, the two of them arguing over a piece of real estate out there. Kalajian, the big loser.
And very disappointed indeed as we watch 3 of the best European endurance drivers in the business, Maas, Stuck, and Ludwig, fighting it out for the second spot. Al Holbert a little bit out of the picture in the lead, but Maas right on his tail. There you can see Holbert heading up the S's, about 20 car lengths on him. Pulled out a little bit, Steve, as they've undertaken his second lap.
Well, all of the pre-race conversation, Brock, has been about Hans Stuck. He is such an exciting driver to watch. Look at him in the red car, number 5, trying to take over that second spot. He may get it. No one has told him that you can't slide at ground effects Porsche, Brock. He does it anyway.
Okay, now Maas has fallen back another spot as Klaus Ludwig pushes by him in the Probe. So the Probe now up into 3rd place, starting to make its move. Reliability a little bit of a problem so far with the Probe, but very quick in qualifying. That is a surprise, Steve. That's Bob Wallach, who is driving the Bruce Levin Porsche 962, one of the real contenders here, and he is in a very early stop, and it looks like that car may be out. We've got a new leader here at Watkins Glen at the Serengeti New York 500, and it's no surprise that beautiful red and white number 5 Porsche 962 with German Hans Stuck has run right past Al Holbert to take the lead.
Well, I'll tell you, Hans Stuck has made a believer out of me, Brock. All the stories are true. The only other appearance Hans made this season was at Sebring, where he broke the all-time track record and has now passed this man, Al Holbert, in car number 14, for the lead here at Watkins Glen.
As we watch Bob Tullius in the number 44 Jaguar now being challenged by David Hobbs in the number 40 Lola Corvette. Remember, we talked about him being the quickest car in this racetrack.
But, unfortunately, the Lola chassis doesn't seem to like the bumps of this racetrack at all, Brock. They've been trying to get the chassis set up properly, but just haven't found the exact combination. You see back here now in 10th spot. But that turbocharged Chevrolet V6 engine has got an awful lot of horsepower. Look at this. He makes a move on Tullius. Well, here's big problems for car number 45. That is Bill Adams. And look at the left rear tire. It is just shredded. Now, it may have clipped an oil line or an oil cooler that is responsible for all that smoke, but that car is in big trouble.
Look at this. A challenge for second spot. That's Drake Olson, the number 16 Porsche 962, trying to move in on Al Holbert. Notice both cars have their headlights on. That is the warn, the slower automobiles that they're coming through. Here comes Olson on the inside up the long straightaway. You get a look at it, the in-car camera of Jochen Maas. That is Holbert and Olson right in front of him, Steve. What a race.
And Olson is now in sole possession of the second position with Al Holbert and Jochen Maas right behind him. Big trouble, Brock, in turn number 11. That is Chris Cord of the Dan Gurney number 99 Toyota, who was running second in the GTU class. That car is just impaled against the wall. A full course caution here at the Serengeti New York 500 at Watkins Glen has brought about some pit activity. That is the number 14 Porsche of Al Holbert in for fuel gas, a clean windshield, and a new driver, Brock Yates. And exiting the pits is the Ford Probe. Also on board, a relief driver, that is Doc Bundy, but he's having some problems getting it going.
Caution flag still out, and right behind him, Hans Stuck. And as you said earlier, Steve, he's out there, and he doesn't look like he's going to come in on this lap at least.
Well, Brock, you figure every contender in this race saw that yellow flag and dashed for the pits, except Hans Stuck. Here we see John Morton going back out. You really wonder if that's the strategy of the team or just Hans out there. They're going to have to take the keys away from him.
Stuck still leads it, but we've got a fresh Derek Bell in the Al Holbert car and 3 more Porsches right behind him. I guess the big question is, Steve Evans, will Hans Stuck ever stop?
You know, maybe he hopes to catch another yellow, okay? If he does, he'll be a genius. If he doesn't, his strategy here will be seriously questioned.
The green is out at Watkins Glen. This is the Serengeti New York 500. I'm Brock Yates along with Steve Evans. Ed Bruce out in California. And that number 14 Porsche 962 has one of the best drivers in the world at the wheel. That's Derek Bell, who is in second place in the point standings here in the IMSA GT Series and trying to maintain that points lead, Steve.
Well, Jochen Maasbach has got his sights set on Al Unser Jr., the car just up in front of him. Unser is traveling right now in the 3rd spot, and in the 4th position is Maas. Now, Maas going to try him on the inside, but not enough.
All right, leading this pack is Bryce Cobb in the number 16 Porsche. He is in 5th place. Right behind him, Chip Robinson back in 10th, a lap down. Then there's Hurley Haywood in 6th, and Doc Bundy in the Ford Probe in 7th spot as they come down the finishing straight. Bryce Cobb leads this little group, and look at Haywood goes underneath his teammate Chip Robinson, and right behind him, Doc Bundy.
Now, Doc Bundy told me earlier, Brock, that they just hope to finish the Ford Probe. He said, we have to resist the temptation of getting on the boost. We'd like to finish 2nd, 3rd, 4th. We just want to finish.
Oh, wait a minute. That's the number 5 car. Hans Stuck slowing. Jochen Maas just blasted by him. There goes Stuck, kind of coasting down through turn number 11 and heading toward the pits. He's got big problems, Steve.
I tell you, I am so disappointed you won't believe it. Because when I had the lead, it was so easy. Bobby Aiken could have driven the car, but just nothing. And then a drive shaft broke.
And the leader now, Derek Bell, in the number 14 car. He shares so successfully with Al Holbert in these long-distance races, taking over from a wounded Hans Stuck, a man who dominated the race early in the going. But right now, it's the English veteran Derek Bell just coasting.
And Brock, there's a world-class driver, Shupan.
He sure is, but I'm afraid not today is he going to have a chance to demonstrate his skills, because it looks like the Corvette is slowing, and yes, he's pulled off the racetrack. Well, Vern, here we go again, the world's most oft-asked question in motorsports. What happened to the car?
We broke a CV joint. Just lost the drive. Everything was running fine, but the track's so bumpy, it broke a drive shaft. Constant velocity joint.
This is the Derek Bell Porsche that has fallen back to 2nd place after a pit stop. His teammate, though, Al Unser Jr., now has the lead, Steve.
He does, but he's coming into the pits, Brock. Here comes Al Unser Jr. You can tell the difference between the 2 cars, not only by the number, but you saw that little red swatch on the right front corner of the automobile. Now, he is apparently not going to get out of the car. Al Holbert offering him some refreshment, the crew building on some new tires, fuel, obviously. Little Al is going to go solo the entire 500 miles. Well, look at these 2 guys fly. That is the battle for the lead. Both are Al Holbert on Porsches. In the lead, Al Unser Jr., Albuquerque, New Mexico. Right behind him comes Derek Bell.
Right now, though, it looks as if Derek Bell is going to get by him and take over the lead, and I would imagine that that was a pass that both drivers agreed upon.
I think you're absolutely right. The cars are very evenly matched, but don't be surprised if they still don't have some fun.
As we watch Klaus Ludwig down inside in the Ford Probe try to get by Al Unser Jr., and no way. So there is the culprit, if there was one in that little incident. It wasn't really. Al Unser Jr. just smoking it up the back straightaway as we move through the field. But look at that. It looked as if we saw some pieces fly off. Yes, there's fire underneath that number 962, Steve.
And he knows something's wrong, Brock. He is slowing. Let's hope he can get it back to the pit area. Well, first he's going to take it off in the grass. I doubt that he knows there's any fire underneath, but he certainly can hear or feel something.
Jim Busby currently 3rd place off the back straightaway, and in front of him a a target of opportunity in the form of number 1, Al Unser Jr. He passed him. That moves him up into the second spot. Well, there they go. About 12 guys trying to get underneath the front of that car to find out what's going on. Looks like the whole Al Olbert crew is under there. And they're going to get something out as we watch. Yeah, he's moving ahead. The car is clear. So Unser gets underway, and we're going to find out in just a second what happened to that automobile. Unfortunately, it drops him way back to fifth spot. He lost a full lap while he had to stop out there in the racetrack and then limp that car back in. And there it is.
It's a muffler, Brock. It's the only cars that race with mufflers are Mazdas. So apparently that came unattached from a Mazda and got picked up by a Porsche. Al Holbert waiting to see that car come around. If he sees it, and it appears that he will, it means that his team has swept the International Motorsports Association season 1-2 for Holbert-owned cars.
Just a few corners left for Derek Bell, and he heads for victory. Down the little short chute, heading into turn 11. That's the final corner. We've had some problems here, but not for Derek Bell on this occasion. Underneath the bridge, the start-finish line, and that's the checkered flag. Victory for Derek Bell. A very casual team here in the Lowenbrow pit, Steve. They've seen a lot of victories. I guess it's getting to be old hat for them.
Any problems at all?
No, I mean, Al did a fantastic job. He just set it up, and all I had to do was have a Sunday afternoon drive.
You didn't drive while Stuck was out there. You must have been a little antsy watching him run, though, earlier in the going.
Well, I raced with him all year in the World Championships. I know what he's like. I have to keep calming him down, but he's got nobody in that team to calm him down. And I guess probably his exuberance didn't improve the gearbox or whatever went wrong, so